Excellency George Manewia, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Madam Amina Mohammed, and to the Ecowas head, Mr. Leopoldo Amado, Ecowas Commissioner of Education, Science and Culture, all other protocols observed. Welcome to the commissioning of the turning over of Unmil Radio to Ecowas Commission as Ecowas Regional Broadcasting Radio Station at Ecowas House, PAP Annex Building, Monrovia, today Friday, March 23rd, 2018, at about now. At this time, we'll all stand and sing the Liberian National Anthem. All hail Liberia, hail! All hail Liberia, hail! This glorious land of liberty shall long be ours. To new horn name, green be her fame, and mighty be her power. To new horn name, green be her fame, and mighty be her power. And mighty be her power, and mighty be her power. 1, 2, 3, 4. In joy and gladness, with our hearts united, we'll shout the freedom of our race benighted. Long live Liberia, happy land, a home of glorious liberty by God's command. A home of glorious liberty by God's command.
Thank you very much, the Director of Ceremony. Your Excellency, Mr. President, thank you so much for being here in spite of your tight schedule. This underscores your strong commitment to ECOWAS, to United Nations, and to the development of Liberia. We recognize that you attended the farewell reception of Unmil until very late in the night yesterday, and this morning you are here. We appreciate very much your presence. Your Excellency, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, our newly gowned Nowalimu of Bong County. We warmly welcome you with your entourage from New York. My very dear brother, Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers, we are very pleased to have you. Your Excellency, Farid Sarif, the coordinator of United Nations operations in Liberia, and the newly gowned Kazan of Nimba, that's right. And of course also the newly decorated. You were conferred with the distinctions of the Order of the Star of Africa yesterday. We congratulate you very warmly. Your Excellency, Ambassador Scrooge, the permanent representative of Sweden to United Nations, and the chairperson of the Liberia configurations of the Peace Building Commission. Distinguished members of the Supreme Court of Liberia, we're pleased to have our esteemed associate justices, members of the Senate, members of the House of Representatives, our ECOWAS parliamentarians, we recognize you here. The representative of the President of the Community Court of Justice, we acknowledge your presence. The representative of the new president of Ecowas Commission, Mr. Leopoldo, we recognize your presence. Members of the cabinet, the Dean, and members of the diplomatic corps, friends, associates, the UN family that are well represented here. We have become one as we now occupy the same complex. Heads of UN agencies, heads of international organizations, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. If I've omitted anybody, please, for sake of time constraint, please pardon me. Mr. President, today is a unique occasion. It is unique for the three parties that are involved in this event. This is the first time that ECOWAS is experimenting radio broadcasting. This is also the first time that the United Nations is handing over a treasured asset to an international organization. It has never happened before in the history of the UN. This is also the first time that the Liberian government is having a specialized ECOWAS agency in Monrovia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are really in an interesting times. I will congratulate the Liberian government for this epochal event. As we in ECOWAS, we're extremely pleased and honored that this occasion is taking place. It has come a long way, and I will quickly seize the opportunity to pay tribute to immediate past President, Madam Helen Johnson, for the blessings that she gave to this proposal when it was mooted to her. She did not have any hesitation. She saw the merit and endorsed it. I want to thank my dear friend and brother, Farid Sarid, for also not only accepting the proposal, but also pushing it forward. And I seize the opportunity to thank the former president of ECOWAS, Marcel de Souza, and the former leadership, including the present president, who embrace this new vision. We thank all of you. I also like to recognize the role of the Minister of Information of Liberia, Eugene Nagwe, who from day one also pushed the concept that this will be good, said Ambassador, this will be good for Liberia and our sub-region. Now, when you look at the hirings of this, whom do you thank? It is the staff of Unmil Radio, who in the last 18 years have lived up to expectations of what the radio stands for. We recall in 2003, when the UN Security Council Resolution 1509 was passed, which gave mandate to the establishment of the radio. The radio operation started at Spring Plain Airport in a mobile van. Today, we have it now in a majestic building. And this is what ECOWAS is taking over. We thank you for the good work you have done, for living up to the ethos, for living up to what the radio stands for, which is for peace, for reconciliation, for justice. There is a local balance that says that Unmil Radio represents a cold water that is put into hala hala. What does that mean? It is a mechanism that is used for resolving disputes. It pacifies, it mitigates, it allays concerns of the people. This is what ECOWAS is inheriting. And it finds expressions in our protocol. It finds expressions in our commitment for good governance. It also quickly represents the practical implementations of the decisions of our head of state way back in the year 2000, when they met in Mali and decided that Ecowas should establish a radio and television, 18 years after the United Nations have put at our disposal a befitting radio station. It is also in fulfillment of the dreams of our founding fathers, who called for strengthening regional integration and cooperation, as spelled out in our Ecowas Treaty of 1975 and that of 1993. It is also in tandem with Chapter 8, Article 51 of the UN Charter, which dealt extensively on regional arrangements. DSG, we thank you very much, as we have strengthened Chapter 8 of providing support to regional organizations. What do we intend to do with the radio? As I mentioned, that we do not have experience, but we're lucky. Unmil and Ecowas have put together a seamless transfer arrangement. We have our consultants. Some of them are former staff of United Nations. We have Mr. Isia Katsuli, who has over 50 years experience in radio broadcasting. Mr. Sule, can you please get up for recognition? We have Professor Karikari, who is a professor of mass communication, with respect to having an effective structure and organization that will be regional in character. Sustainability also with respect to the content of the radio, the programs of the radio, which should bear impartiality, independence, and relevance. These are the visions which the United Nations brought to bear in 2003 when the radio was established. Mr. President and the DSG, we want to assure you that we'll do our best with necessary support from the United Nations, from our development partners. As running a radio, it's capital intensive. So much millions have gone into this, and we want to expand this to our member states. Ecowas will spend from our modest budget, but we need your support, as the radio will be used to broadcast the activities of all the UN agencies, the activities of the World Bank, the IMF, and therefore we require your support. In closing, on behalf of the President of Ecowas Commission, I want to thank all of you for finding time to be with us today at this historic event. Your presence here means a lot to Ecowas. Ecowas will remain here forever. Thank you.
For all of us in the United Nations to see that we have secured a very safe path into the future to safeguard this very precious baby that has been nurtured during the time of this mission. Very, very pleased that Ecowas is taking over and therefore guaranteeing the further development and maturization of this outfit that will benefit not only the people of Liberia, but the people of the entire region. Our voice will survive. Our messages and the core purpose for which this meeting was established will survive long after we are gone. And we are very pleased with the sense of responsibility, ownership that both Ecowas has demonstrated in this regard, as well as the government of Liberia supporting this venture. I reiterate the call for support from all stakeholders, the donor community, the financial institutions, and others, to make sure that this undertaking does continue successfully in the future. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, Madam Deputy Secretary General, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this handover ceremony is again a further manifestation of our government's commitment to a free press in Liberia, because a free press is an indispensable part of our democracy. For democracy to be nurtured, there has to be an atmosphere where the citizens can freely express themselves. Unmil Radio, now transitioning to Ecowas Radio, has proven again that with the proper use of the instruments of the media, peace, security, and democracy can be fostered. This is why in the headquarters agreement, we insisted that the high editorial standards of Ecowas, of Unmil Radio, and the high editorial independence be maintained by Ecowas. In addition, there is a drive for us to expand into other West African countries. Once we do the technical details of resolving frequency allocation issues and issues of media policy with the member states, we intend to expand Ecowas Radio into all of the countries that make up Ecowas. Liberia is proud to be the first country to host this key aspect of Ecowas integration plan, and you can be assured of the government's fullest cooperation and support in ensuring that this project prospers. Thank you very much.
Un grand plaisir d'être présent ce jour à Monrovia, à l'occasion de la cérémonie de transfert de la radio de Unmil à la commission de la CEDEAO, en application de la décision prise par la conférence des chefs d'État et de gouvernement de la CEDEAO lors du sommet ordinaire de 2000 à Bamako, au Mali, autorisant la mise en place d'une radio-télévision destinée à l'ensemble de notre sous-région. C'est à quoi nous assistons aujourd'hui est une illustration de la volonté des pères fondateurs de consolider les liens d'unité et de promouvoir la coexistence pacifique entre les États membres de notre communauté. Au caractère inédit de cette cérémonie correspond l'ampleur des liens de collaboration tissés avec le gouvernement libérien par les Nations Unies, la Commission de la CEDEAO et d'autres parties prenantes pour la promotion de la paix, de la sécurité et du développement humain en général. La radio de Unmil, dont nous héritons aujourd'hui, tire son mandat de la résolution 1509 de 2003 du Conseil de sécurité des Nations Unies, portant création de la mission des Nations Unies au Libéria et insistant sur la nécessité de créer une institution de radiodiffusion neutre et digne de confiance et capable d'assurer la diffusion d'informations équilibrées, exactes et fiables. Fort heureusement, au cours des 15 dernières années, la radio de Unmil s'est relevée comme un symbole de la paix et de l'unité au Libéria. Nous nous rappelons avec plaisir le rôle joué par cette radio pour la mobilisation des combattants en vue de leur désarmement, leur participation à l'édification de la nation à travers leur réhabilitation.
Okay, just talking about the rehabilitation and the insertion of all soldiers, the former soldiers of this previous war that took place in Liberia, how the UN mission or the US radio is also important to help the integration of the former soldiers in Liberia.
Elle a aussi contribué à la participation massive des citoyens au processus électoral.
Okay, as he said, the Unmil radio also play an important role in the disarmament and the reintegration of the previous Liberians, former soldiers in this country.
Ayant placé le Libéria sur la trajectoire de
And as we say, this radio placed also Liberia in a high place in the world.
la Commission de la CEDEAO
And the Commission of Ecowas
reconnaissent l'importance du rôle de cette station
and recognize the very important power, the important role that was played by this radio in Liberia
dans la promotion de la paix,
in the promotion of peace,
de la sécurité et de la
security
dans ces régions,
and stability in the region.
a sollicité et obtenu l'autorisation du gouvernement du Libéria
And these regions, invited the intervention of the Liberian government
puis celle du secrétaire général des Nations Unies
and the SRG of UN
pour obtenir la carte de la radio
and to also help to keep this radio to continue its struggle, its mission by searching the stability and peace.
Et lui faire jouer le rôle de station de radiodiffusion régionale de la CEDEAO au Nigeria.
Okay, the UN mission also going to help this radio to overcome all the information it staged in the West African region, which is Ecowas head of state.
L'accord donné
And
a permis de tenir la cérémonie historique.
I said the permission given by the UN to sponsor this radio or to empower this radio will help.
Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs,
Excellency, ladies and sirs,
la nouvelle radio de la CEDEAO servira donc
and this new Ecowas radio going to help
la plateforme de promotion de l'intégration régionale
and going to help the integration of the sub-regions population in this part of Africa
voulu la traiter de la CEDEAO
and to implement the treaties of West African countries
et les instruments et protocoles qui en découlent.
and going to implement the protocols and all the accords that bring together the West African countries.
Les objectifs essentiels de cette radio seront notamment
And the main objective of this Ecowas new radio will be
de promouvoir l'intégration
and
régionale,
to promote the integration, the sub-regional integration,
de contribuer à l'éducation des populations
and to
ouest-africaines,
educate the West African populations,
de sensibiliser sur le programme et la vision 2020
and
de la CEDEAO,
to sensitize the visions of West Africa,
de contribuer au renforcement de la paix,
and to contribute to the reinforcement of peace in these various West African countries,
de la sécurité,
the security,
le développement
The
de la
development.
démocratie en Afrique ouest.
and in all objective in West Africa,
De promouvoir les activités de développement
and also to promote the activities concerning development in these various countries in West Africa,
menées par les Nations Unies et les
and
partenaires internationaux
also
sur la
engaged by the UN organization.
Dans l'ensemble de ces programmes,
And among all these programs,
la radio s'inspirera des principes et des valeurs de base du
and this
journalisme,
radio will inspire or will get its plans.
à savoir la vérité,
And talking about the validity, the power, the values,
l'esprit de la justice,
and the spirit of justice,
l'égalité,
equality among populations,
la responsabilité et la transparence,
and responsibility and transparency within these various countries.
la confiance et l'intérêt public,
Okay, the trust,
ainsi que l'indépendance territoriale,
and the independence within, the independence between countries.
Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs,
Okay, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen,
afin de tenir compte du caractère régional de la radio CEDEAO,
and to underline the importance of this sub-regional radio,
les émissions seront diffusées par les 3 langues officielles de l'organisation.
and our broadcasting will be done in 3 regional languages:
L'anglais, le français et le portugais.
English, French, and Portuguese.
Il convient de noter que la période de transition celle d'avril à juin, sera consacrée à définir le modus operandi de cette radio du point de vue technique, financier et de programmation pour l'élargissement du champ de cet important instrument de promotion de la paix vers les pays de l'Union de fleuve Mano et progressivement vers les autres pays membres de la CEDEAO. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, la faste et les clés de cette cérémonie ne doivent pas cacher de grands défis à relever qui nécessiteront la participation de tous pour la réalisation de cette noble ambition. Je lance par conséquent un appel aux Nations Unies et en particulier à la Commission de la conciliation de la paix ainsi qu'à nos partenaires du développement pour qu'ils puissent fournir les financements nécessaires à la gestion effective et efficace de l'opération de la radio CEDEAO. Sans nul doute, un investissement technique massif sera requis. D'abord pour permettre la radio de continuer à diffuser sur les ondes, puis d'élargir ses émissions vers les autres États membres en utilisant les 3 langues officielles et enfin d'intégrer les langues nationales afin de promouvoir l'intégration socioculturelle de notre communauté. Excellences, je voudrais aussi assurer, pour sa part, la CEDEAO mettra tout en œuvre afin d'apporter un soutien financier dans la limite de ses moyens Il incombe à nos partenaires de développement de soutenir ces nobles projets qui cadrent avec notre objectif commun de promotion de la paix et de développement inclusif, d'autant plus que la radio CEDEAO sera utilisée pour promouvoir les activités de ses partenaires dans la sous-région. Nous renouvelons notre appel afin que vous mettiez tout en œuvre pour cette graine que nous semions aujourd'hui puisse germer et porter de bonnes fruits au bénéfice de l'ensemble de la sous-région. Nous adressons également nos remerciements au secrétaire général et aux membres du Conseil de la sécurité des Nations Unies, aux responsables du MONUL et tous ceux qui, d'une manière ou autre, ont contribué à rendre cette journée possible. Merci de votre attention et que Dieu vous bénisse. Thank you. Merci. Obrigado.
Merci beaucoup.
By commending Ambassador Tunde Achisomo and our SRSG, Zarif, for championing the proposed handover from Unmil to Ecowas in this positive spirit of cooperation that we all witnessed in the substantive areas of engagement, including the elections. We'd like to welcome the government of Liberia for its foresight in allowing Ecowas to pilot its initiative in Liberia, as the country and its people can only serve to benefit from more effective communication and partnerships. I'd like to commend Ecowas for seeking the use of Unmil Radio to serve as the nucleus of a long-standing aspiration to establish a regional radio station. And we welcome that the first step in the process of realizing the decision of Ecowas heads of state and government has been made, but we still observe that there is a long way to go. We'd like to stress that it will be absolutely essential that Ecowas sustains what Unmil Radio was able to build in Liberia, namely that rarest and most fragile of resources, trust and credibility. To that end, we observe that in addition to its physical assets, we will hand over to Ecowas the strong reputation this radio station has built in Liberia as an impartial, credible source of information. And we welcome as well Ecowas' decision to retain Unmil Radio's on-air personalities, who are a big part of the public's understanding of the radio station. Maintaining some familiarity as well as editorial independence will be important for Ecowas to build its own trusted and broadcasted brand. I thank you and congratulate all of us on that transmission.
Thank you, Madam DSG.
Her Excellency, Ms. Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, and other members of the United Nations team present, members of the Liberian Legislature, members of the Liberian Senate, members of the Cabinet present, the ECOWAS ambassador to Liberia and members of the ECOWAS community present, Dean and members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my duty to invite His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Liberia, Ambassador George Manawia, President of Liberia, for the keynote address.
Have a seat. Your Excellency, Ms. Amina Mohammed, the ECOWAS Commission, Leopoldo Amando, Dr. Chambers, Your Excellency Tunde Ajisomo, government officials, Ambassador Elders and members of the diplomatic corps, our development partners, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today marks an important milestone in the history of our country. It is also demonstrate our collective will as a region to support the free press, human rights, and governmental order, as well as consolidate the gain that have been made in Liberia, a nation that is still now on the path of development, progress, and democracy after years of turmoil. We are honored, Your Excellency, and profoundly grateful for the invaluable services rendered by Unmil Radio and its dedicated staff to Liberia in educating, informing, and entertaining our people as far back in 2003 when our nation was torn apart by war. We want to say a big thank you to the United Nations family for establishing these vital tools of information disseminating that stretches across all of our 15 political sub-regions. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a milestone document in the history of human rights, drafted by representatives with different legal and cultural backgrounds from all regions of the world. The declaration was proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly in Paris on the 10th of December, 1948. This instrument set the basis for all persons and governments around the world to abide by certain standards for the protections of basic human rights. In Article 19 of the Universal Declaration for Human Rights, everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media, regardless of frontiers. Let me assure all of you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that our government is committed to upholding these values to the letter. Excellency, invited guests, distinguished members of the press, it is also important to note that this government supports the Table Mountain Declaration, a key instrument for press freedom and free speech, which was signed by my predecessor back in 2012. We believe no person should be arrested, intimidated, or harassed for freely expressing their opinion on any subject. I also believe that laws which criminalize speech offenses should and must be repealed, as these laws serve as a form of media censorship, and Muslims of the free press will be working with the national legislature to ensure that those laws are repealed once and for all. We'd like to thank the Ecowas and all other partners for taking over Unmil Radio in an effort to keep our people informed about the many development projects we have embarked upon to put our country back on track. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. Merci, obrigado.
You just listened to the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency George Maningwea. At this time, I would like to invite the BSG, the SRSG, Ecowas Commissioner and dignitaries, and the President of the Republic of Liberia to walk over to the offices of the Unmil Radio for cutting of ribbon.
Bien mon droite. Voilà. Bon, on va appeler quelqu'un qui va prier d'abord. Parce qu'il faut la bénédiction de cette radio. Voilà. Et on va, il y a quelqu'un. Can anybody pray for us? Pray for this baby?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Volunteers, go ahead.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we thank you for this occasion. Thank you for the leader, Ecowas, and the Liberian government. I will proceed with this program, content of the rhythm, and your guardian continue to carry through for the success of every nation. I pray this prayer in the name of
Okay. With the benediction, now I want to call you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
And this is Unmil Radio, the official voice of the United Nations in Liberia. We're privileged to have a high-profile panel here today. And of course, I just following the ceremony to hand over Unmil Radio to Ecowas Regional Broadcasting, we're really, really privileged to have here the Deputy UN Secretary General, Madam Amina Mohamed, along with Mr. Leopoldo Amado, the Ecowas Commissioner for Education, Science and Culture. And we're also glad to have His Excellency here with us, the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency George Mane Weah. Ma'am, we'd like to say welcome to Unmil Radio.
Thank you very much. We're thrilled to be here. It's a very exciting moment.
Now, what can you tell us explains the decision by the UN to continue the legacy of Unmil Radio, turning it over to another agency rather than closing the station along with other components of the mission?
Well, I would say that history has shown that Unmil Radio has been of immense service to the peace process in Liberia. It's a trusted platform, messaging on peace, on tolerance, on reconciliation, and has encouraged debate, robust and honest debate. Certainly here it is in recognition of that role of what the radio stands and what it's played in terms of reconciliation, peace building, that the Security Council has said this ought to be transferred to serve the public good. To a public service broadcaster, of course, that merits and can hold that responsibility, maintaining trust and confidence.
How confident are you that Radio Ecowas is in a good stead to continue the legacy of Unmil Radio?
Well, here I think it's important to say that Ecowas and the UN share the same vision and ideals of promoting peace, international peace, security, development. It is also the regional bloc for which we all work in a coordinated and coherent fashion, looking to achieve Agenda 2063 and the 2030 Agenda. And so we can only expect that Ecowas Radio will build on the footprints that we've seen for Unmil, given that they share the same ideals. And it's our hope that other stakeholders too will join us in supporting the expansion and the deepening of its presence across the region.
And for you, Mr. Amado, what are your sentiments as Ecowas takes over Unmil Radio, and what are some of the immediate and long-term plans for Ecowas Radio?
Je vais parler en français, je vais le faire en anglais, mais je suis plus à l'aise en français, je vais le faire en français, tandis qu'au niveau de la CEDEAO, on a 3 langues, portugais, anglais et français, mais je vais le faire en français, c'est plus facile d'avoir la traduction ici. Bon, c'est dans la réalisation des rêves des pères fondateurs de la CEDEAO de promouvoir la coopération et la collaboration entre les États membres.
I would like to speak in French because in Ecowas we have three languages. So basically it's due to the objective of fulfilling the dream of Ecowas member states that we're establishing this cooperation between the member states.
C'est aussi la mise en application pratique de la décision des chefs d'État et de gouvernement de la CEDEAO de 2000 au Mali, dans lesquels ils ont appelé à la mise en place de la radio et la télévision de la CEDEAO.
It's also as a result of a decision that was taken in Mali in 2000 to put in place a radio called Ecowas Radio.
C'est également la suite de la mise en œuvre du chapitre 8 de la Charte des Nations Unies qui appelle à une plus grande collaboration entre les Nations Unies et les organisations régionales.
According to Chapter 8 of the United Nations Charter, we decided to put in place this big collaboration between regional UN organizations.
C'est la première organisation régionale de radiodiffusion pour l'Afrique de l'Ouest et aussi la première agence spécialisée de la CEDEAO au Libéria.
It is the first regional radio station for West Africa and also for the specialized agency Ecowas in Liberia.
La radio de la CEDEAO sera un instrument pour la consolidation de la paix et de la réconciliation, pour la promotion de la paix, de l'unité et de la sécurité, pour le développement économique des États membres de la CEDEAO.
ECOWAS will be the instrument for the consolidation of peace and also for unity and security, also ensuring development and economic development between member states.
Okay. Now, ma'am, I come to you. In the last 2 days, you've attended a host of events, including the National Reconciliation Conference. You also met with the President, His Excellency of the Republic of Liberia, and you consulted with the UN country team. As Unmil ends its mandate, would you say that a solid foundation is in place for Liberia to continue on the path of peace and development?
Absolutely. I've been honored to be here over the last 2 days, and those encounters that I've had have shown that long march to peace, which is a 15-year journey, has resulted in a transition of peacefully of power from President Sirleaf to President George Manewia. Custodians of that peaceful election have been the youth. And I've seen young voices who have talked within the context of the reconciliation, their aspirations for the future, the wonderful relationship that I've also seen between the government and the people of Liberia and the UN. So as the UN mission closes, it hands over that baton to development, sustainable development, where we hope to help the leadership realize the aspirations of the Liberian people. We're very confident, very excited. This is a good day.
That's good to hear. Now to you, Your Excellency, you are here privileged to be a part of this process. Now, what does that signal to you, sir?
Well, first of all, I think the ECOWAS is lucky. This is the first day, and I'm in your studio. It's very difficult to get a judge who are in studio.
I know.
It's not because I'm against the journalists, but I just don't like to talk in studio. But it's important. I think what we should say is that we are grateful and proud that UME is living, but they're leaving one of the best components, information. that will give people the opportunity to be free to say what they want to say. Our people will access information. I think the move by Ecowas is a good thing. Ecowas just, again, being a member of Ecowas, just confirmed the reintegration of process and partnership, to make sure that the region is safe. This is an instrument that we gave our information and gave our neighbors also the information. You know, we've been struggling with most of our radio stations. The frequency doesn't go as far as in the last village. So for Ecowas to adapt this instrument is a good thing. I was in the media. I have 2 radio stations that can even go to beyond Grand Bassa. I just told you that. And I showed that one of the reasons my son left the radio station, he wanted something good that can get information. But it's a good thing for us, that Unmil is leaving and Ecowas take over. That's just partnership. It's good for our country, and I hope that we can get more powerful radio stations like this Ecowas radio station, so that our people can get information. Lack of information is not a good thing. We experience war in this country. I'm sure if we have radio station that we signal people in the last village, I don't think the war is going to escalate. Because of misinformation, the war escalated and a lot of people lost their life. So with this instrument, I think it's a good thing. And we are happy that the radio station stay.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Now, Madam Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed, will you please do us the honor of taking our seat for once, present to our audience, and this is a bit emotional for all of us, closing the loop on our first words transmitted on air, heralding a new era of hope for Liberia. This is the moment for us, Liberia, the sub-region, and the global community.
Thank you. Unmil Radio, the official voice of the United Nations in Liberia. Today, we proudly begin the countdown of the transfer of Unmil Radio to Ecowas Radio on the 1st of April.
Professeur.
Tu vas voir le pays. Parce que ça dit, on dispute, et aussi. Ah oui, c'est ça. The giant all down. Yeah. No. I'll depend on you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I created a protocol, so they're really. Okay. Yabo, how are you? Another day. No problem. Coming. Okay. Yes. You know how to farm. I know. Okay.